Hi, everyone. Good morning to you. It is Wednesday and it's a snowy start to the day. We do have some light snow still out there this morning and some lake effect snow as well. So, as you're getting going for your day, make sure that you're factoring in some extra time as we do have some slippery road conditions out there. And we do will have more lake effect snow that's going to be coming in as we head towards this afternoon extending through tomorrow. So moderate lake effect snow, blowing snow going to be an issue right along Lake Superior, along M28 into Alger County. So be mindful of that in your travels today. But for today's TV6 First Alert Weather Extra, we're going to air and show you the second part of my winter special, Winter's Past, Present, and Future. And the second part of this winter special talks about the winter outlook and the winter forecast and all of the global features that I look at to be able to get a decent picture as to what the winter months will trend like. So, yeah, okay, so let's go ahead and cue that up here.
Long-range winter forecasting is not an exact science, as the farther out in time you go, the larger the margin of error. However, there are several global features we monitor to help us predict the overall trend of the season and what that means for our winter here at home.
This winter season will be more typical for the UP, shaping up to be colder and snowier. Projections show December temperatures will be close to normal. For January and February, a higher probability of colder and wetter conditions is expected. If it pans out, we'll be in for more snow. Last year, the seasonal snowfall was near normal, with the highest accumulation of 150 inches to near 330 inches of snow in the Keweenaw. The western UP ranged 100 inches to 200 inches, 100 to 250 inches in Marquette County, and the northeastern UP 125 inches to 250 inches. This year, several global factors are coming into play. First, a weakening La Nina at the beginning of winter, which goes into a neutral phase by spring. La Nina is the cold phase of the El Niño Southern Oscillation. It occurs when stronger easterly trade winds in the equatorial Pacific bring colder than normal waters up to the surface. This directly impacts our global circulation. Enhanced stormy weather occurs in Indonesia. Then a strong high-pressure system forms in the northeast Pacific, while a strong low-pressure system develops in eastern Canada. The strong pressure contrast between the two pushes the polar jet stream upwards near Alaska. Downstream, the polar jet digs farther south across the plains and Midwest. This will be the main highway corridor for storms to track. If moisture is available, this setup will allow for more cold air outbreaks and increases in snow. Since the 1950s, we've had 12-week La Nina winters. There are some recent winters to highlight. In 2016 to 2017, we had near normal snowfall. The winter of 2017 to 2018 ended with high snowfall, especially along the northwest wind belts. The Keweenaw pushed more than 300 inches, while Alger County and the highlands of Marquette County exceeded 200 inches. We also saw a similar situation for 2022 to 2023. That year, the highest snowfall exceeded 300 inches in the highlands of Berga and western Marquette counties. Historically, these previous winters hint at the potential for above normal snowfall this season. Another feature which could contribute to a more normal winter this year is the polar vortex. This is a strong area of low pressure at the North Pole, which extends from the troposphere to the stratosphere. It's measured by the strength of the winds flowing counterclockwise. A strong polar vortex occurs when the circulation is tight, keeping cold Arctic air concentrated within it. In a weak polar vortex, the opposite happens, as the circulation becomes disrupted. This causes Arctic air outbreaks to shift farther south across the nation. Going into this winter, the polar vortex is expected to weaken. A sudden stratospheric warming causes the polar vortex to weaken and is expected to happen at the beginning of winter. It occurs when waves of strong pressure cause an increase in temperature and pressure surrounding the polar vortex. Ultimately, this energy disrupts the tight circulation, causing more Arctic blasts, and with the right conditions, more snow. Next, we look at Siberia. Greater snow cover in the fall months, especially in October, creates a strong high-pressure system over the region. It also causes the polar vortex to weaken. Snow cover quickly expanded this past September and October, another clue of what may come. Lastly, the quasi-biennial oscillation, or QBO. It's a shifting of wind direction in the stratosphere, which occurs in the tropics. About every 2 years, it changes. A shift to the negative phase, known as the easterly phase, has recently occurred. This means stronger easterly winds have developed in the stratosphere, circling the planet at the equator. This increases the potential for a stratospheric warming event in the winter, which in turn helps weaken the polar vortex. These global features combined support colder conditions in the northern U.S., wetter than normal conditions in the Northwest and Midwest, while the southern U.S. will be drier and warmer. In the UP, this means a colder and snowier season, something local businesses and outdoor enthusiasts can look forward to.
All right, so that's the official winter outlook for 2025 to 2026. Yeah, and as depicted in that entire piece, it is going to be more typical for us across the UP, more normal, typical UP winter. We have a lot of global features coming into place, and that's been proven true with how we ended the month of November, right around Thanksgiving. We had that blizzard, we had that winter storm, we've had snow basically almost every single day thereafter still. We have snow right now, and it's also colder than normal. So we're expecting December to be colder than normal, and that's still in the forecast. This week, the first week of December, is going to be below normal. It stays that way. Our normal is right around freezing. And so the majority of this work week stays in the 20s and teens. And it looks like it's going to stay that way into next week as well. And even a little bit more longer range outlooks for temperatures going into the rest of December shows that we will be below normal across the Great Lakes in the upper Midwest. There's this about 20 to about 40% probability of below normal temperatures throughout that stretch, putting us all the way out to the holidays. So right around Christmas and the end of this year. And so a lot of that again contributed to, the placement of the jet stream as a result to those global circulation features from the La Nina that's still in place in the equatorial Pacific. So we have a weak La Nina, as I mentioned in that piece. That is how we're kicking off this winter of 2025. We're expecting that La Nina or the Enzo to go into a neutral phase going into spring. So we'll start to notice that kind of develop around February going into March. But then the other global features come into play as well, as I mentioned in that piece. So also the polar vortex, which I know for a lot of people could be kind of a scary name. It's really not that scary. It's just a disruption of the wind circulation at the poles, and that impacts the jet stream. And when the jet stream becomes weak, it dips farther south across the nation. And that's what gives us our cold air outbreaks, right? That's what also keeps us from having those warm ups. We've had the last several years very variable winters. We've had a lot of warm winters, significantly above normal consistently almost every single month. We had warm spells over the past couple of years. Last year was more of a closer normal winter that we had. But prior to that, it was all over the place. We had that snow drought winter. And so this year we're getting back to more typical conditions. And I think it is going to be a very active winter for us. I do think that over in the west end of the UP and the Keweenaw, the eastern, those higher elevation locations, because Lake Superior is not frozen over yet, I think we're going to continue with these lake effect events of lake effect snow all the way potentially going into towards the end of January. And yeah, when we have this setup, this sets us up for more storms to track in our region. You know, usually by mid by mid winter, they're generally clipper systems, but we've started off this winter season with clipper systems. And then, so there's a difference between, by the way, clipper systems as compared to other systems that come in out of the plains. And it has to do with the characteristics of the air mass that system's bringing in, the type of moisture that it's bringing in, the type of snow, the type of temperatures before the system and behind the system. But I think we'll be dealing with several clipper systems this winter season, and hopefully more system snow. We have a good snow base right now from last week's system, and each little one coming in over Lake Superior with this, you know, cold below normal air mass will yield more lake effect snow. And that's good news for a lot of our, you know, winter outdoor rec businesses and our snow lovers out there. So yeah, several global features coming into play. A couple of rounds of the polar vortex potentially bringing in some of that cold air, weakening La Nina all combined together. We have, as I mentioned in that piece, stratospheric warming events, which, you know, weaken the polar vortex. And basically, if you are a snow lover, what you want is a weak polar vortex. That's basically what you want. And so it looks like we're gonna have a couple rounds of that this winter season. So yeah, that's how it looks for this upcoming winter season. And yeah, if you have any questions, comments, or, you know, want to add anything to that, feel free to go ahead and comment below. Also, by the way, make sure to share this with other people who might be interested in knowing potentially what to expect for this winter season, especially if you're an outdoor enthusiast. And you can catch the entire special on our Roku app, TV6 Plus. It's up there, winter's past, present, and future. It's about a 12 to about 15-minute video, 3 parts. We showed the first part on Monday. I showed it here through the live stream on Monday. This was the second part, part 2, and then the third part I will actually show tomorrow is about the future of our climate and the future of our winters. You know, it's kind of hard to ignore the fact that the past couple of winters have been variably different. And so, you know, we're looking ahead. We're looking ahead 50 years from now to 100 years from now, and what, you know, climate features could result in different winters for us. Winters are changing, and they'll continue to do so. And so that third part actually goes over what we've seen over the last 50 years, what the trend has been like. You know, a lot of the information comes from data research from Climate Central, and I have a climate expert in that third piece that talks about the evolution that we're going to see with our snow season potentially becoming shorter for the UP, and overall going towards a warmer winter trend. So that third part I will be showing on our live stream tomorrow if you want to tune in for that. Or, of course, you can go to our Roku app, TV6 Plus. The entire thing is there, one click, and you can watch it all in one sitting. You can also check it out on our website, uppermichigansource.com, under the weather tab. There's a special tab for that as well. So, yeah, that does it. Hopefully you have a really great day and you stay safe out there as we continue with some of that lake effect snow that we still have out there this morning. All right, you guys have